Hi guys, thanks for joining me today. I'm going to lead you through some stretches for your back and your hips. Nice to do in the morning, before bed, after work, especially good after work if you've been sitting all day and working from home. You can use this as a nice transition from work mode into home mode, especially not having like a physical transition. It might be a little hard to make that shift, so this can be something that might be helpful with that. If you have a foam roller, go ahead and grab that. Mine is pink. If you've got a couple yoga blocks, you can grab those. We're going to do something on one knee. If you need a little extra cushioning, have that. If you need help with balance, if you're not able to if you're not quite steady on one knee, be near a wall or a bed or a chair or a couch, something that you can grab onto if you need it. If something hurts, don't do it. If something feels really good and you want to hang out there longer, just hit pause and hang out there longer. Take what works for you and leave what doesn't. We're going to start standing today. Start standing up nice and tall. Just feel your feet on the ground. Bring your legs and your feet about hip distance apart. If you want to lift a heel, bend the knees. You can lift both heels. Dropping one heel, bend an opposite knee. Just feel those feet on the ground. Enjoy the legs being long. Feel like the front of the hips are opening. Feel like your tailbone is dropping down. Abs are lifting up the front. Hips are opening. Pelvis is coming nice and underneath you. Roll your shoulders up and down a couple times. Just get a little movement in there. Rolling forward. We're going to reverse all of the forward flexion that usually happens. So let's go back one more time. Do about 5. And then standing up nice and tall, finding a moment of stillness, laying those feet on the ground. Just do a couple of inhales and exhales. We're going to round down through the body. I'm going to rotate just so you can see. You want to try to keep your weight forward in your feet. Don't let it go back in your heels. As you round down, we want to start by taking your chin towards your chest. You want to round everything down. You want to not let your butt fall back. If you have a wall that you can lean against, go ahead and lean against your wall. Have a little bit of space between your feet and the base of the wall so that you can allow your pelvis to go back a little bit if it needs to. If it doesn't need to, if you're able to, keep the weight forward. You can bend your knees when you need to. And round all the way down. I'm going to come all the way up. Just nice and easy, thinking about opening up the back, opening up the spine, roll the shoulders up and down once you get there. And again, rounding down, opening up the back, bend the knees when you need to, go as far down as you can. Take an inhale at the bottom. Take an exhale and stay. Hold on to your legs if you need to. And then come on back up by lifting from the belly button, lifting from the floor. Try not to rock back when you come up either. And then this time we're going to go all the way down and stay down. Make your way all the way down onto your mat. Come onto your hands and your knees. Try to have your shoulders over your wrist and your hips over your knees. Try to keep the weight balanced between your hands and your knees throughout. You're going to start by just rounding, tucking, scooping, looking towards your belly button. Lengthen as you tilt the pelvis and arch, looking higher up on your wall. Rounding. Lengthen as you arch. Feel the back open and widen as you round. Push through the hands. Let the shoulders come back and down as you arch. Keep the ribs connected. Keep the abs lifted. We'll just do a couple more times here. If you need to do more, feel free. Make sure you're breathing. And then we'll come to a neutral spine, a flat back. I'm going to do a little modified lunge. Again, if you need to add a little extra cushioning, go for it. I am doing that. We're going to bring your left leg forward, and your right leg is going to stay back. If you need something to hold on to, have something to hold on to, be next to your bed or a chair or whatever you need. Try to keep your hips level. This left hip might want to hike up. Try not to let it You want to have the left knee over your ankle. You don't want to ever let it go past your toes. And we want to have this right hip over the right knee. Feel like your right hip is coming forward and your left hip is going back. That will try to keep those hips aligned. Try to keep your pelvis nice and upright. This may be enough of a stretch right here, and if it is, that's awesome. If you want to go a little deeper, scooch that left foot forward, lean forward a tiny bit. You might get into your quad as well. And if you want to go even further, you're going to take your right arm towards the ceiling. You're going to lean away. Try not to disrupt your pelvis. The left hand can stay on your leg or a chair or something. If you have it, you can reach the left arm down if you want. But if you have this right arm overhead and you're leaning towards the left, feel this right hip reaching down, so we're opening up that hip flexor. You can reverse and come right back to it, or if you want, you can do a little round forward and then come up. And then we're going to switch sides. Take your hands down, take your left knee behind, recenter if you need to, adjust your cushioning if you need to. Left leg stays back, right leg comes forward. So my pelvis is a little uneven as is, so I don't know if you'll see that or not, but that's something that I know, and that could be true of you too. You might have one hip that's higher, or you might have one side of your pelvis that's tilted forward or back. It's working with what your anatomy is. Got the right leg forward, we got our left leg back. Knees and ankles, hips are all aligned. On this side, it's that left hip that's coming forward, the right hip is going back. You can scooch that foot forward a bit and lean forward if you need to. You can also scoop that pelvis under. You might feel a greater stretch in the front of that left hip flexor. If you want, take the left arm towards the ceiling. Lean away towards the right. Try not to disrupt the pelvis. Try to keep your left shoulder down. You can keep this right arm where it is for stability, or you can reach it down if you would like. You're ready. Coming back and returning. Taking your hands down, taking that right leg behind. Take your knees wide, bring your feet together, sit your butt back, reach your arms forward, and take a child's pose stretch. You can be up on the forearms if you need to. If you're able to, go all the way down. Rock side to side, do what you need to do. But take a deep inhale and a deep exhale. Feel your low back widen and lengthen as you inhale. And then let your hips sink towards your heels as you exhale. If you want your arms to be a little bit wider, you can take them a little wider or a little narrower. For now, we're just going to do one more breath here, but if you need more, feel free to take more. And then we're going to make our way up. We're going to shift to one side, take your legs in front of you, and then gently make your way down to the ground, down to your mat. We're down on our backs, we've got our knees bent and our feet flat on the ground. Go ahead and turn your head side to side if you want. Just let your body kind of relax. I kind of feel like it's just being nice and open for now. When you're ready, take your legs in towards you. Hold on to both legs and rock side to side, nice and gently. Let your knees fall to the left side. Extend your arm to the right, your right arm to the right. Let that right hip be lifted. And turn your head to the right. We're going to make sure that this right arm is not too high. That it's in line with your shoulder or slightly lower. We need a nice twist throughout the back. Inhaling and exhaling. Need a little stretch in the back. Or maybe getting a little stretch over on this right hip. Take 2 more breaths here on this side. When you're ready, come on back to the center. Rock side to side a little again if you need to. And then let your knees fall to the right side. Extend that left arm to the left. Feel that left shoulder coming down. Take your right hand to the legs if you need. Turn your head to the left. Let that left hip be lifted. Deep inhale, deep exhale. Every time you inhale, feel your spine lengthen. Every time you exhale, let your body release into this twist, releasing into this stretch. Twisting out all the toxins from the body. 2 more breaths here on this side. And then returning back to the center. We're going to do a similar twist. We're going to do one leg at a time. I'm going to adjust. You're going to keep your left leg long. And bring your right knee in. Now, again, try not to let this right hip lift. You may feel a stretch in the front of your left hip and that left hip flexor just by being in this position. Awesome. If you are, feel free to stay there and enjoy that. Otherwise, we're going to take this right leg, we're going to cross, and we're going to take that same twist. If this is hurting your hip flexor, the front of your hip, if you feel it pinching, don't do this one. Come back onto your back, let this right leg open. Your right ankle is going to rest just above your knee of that left leg, and we're going to try to have the hips be level. So come to this position if this crossed is too tight for the hips. Otherwise, hang out here in this crossed position. If you're doing this cross-body position and you also want to do that figure 4 stretch, we will do that after too. Stay there as long as you need. Come back center, and then let that right hip open. Let that right knee open. And just let that let gravity just kind of help to open up the hip a little bit. If you want a little more of a stretch, you can bend that left knee, and you can hold on to that left leg too, feeling it underneath. If any of these stretches don't feel good, then don't do them. And if they do feel good and you want to be in any stretch longer, then feel free to stay longer. When you're ready, uncross that right leg. Take the right leg long. Enjoy that opening. Hug that left leg in. And then twist the left leg over. Turn your head to the left. Extend the left arm. Hang out there in that stretch. Again, if it doesn't feel good, come back to your back. Cross your left ankle over your right thigh. Try to be even in the hips, flat in the pelvis if you can. So you can be in that figure 4, or you can be in that twist. It's best to not rush through the stretches and to really inhale it fully, exhale fully. When you're ready, if you're in this twist and you want to take that figure 4, go ahead and take that figure 4. If you want to bend the right knee, if you want to hold on to that right leg and go deeper, go for it. When you're ready, go ahead and release that stretch. Take a little rock side to side. All right, for our next, our last stretch, I think, we're going to use a foam roller. If you don't have a foam roller and you want to still enjoy this stretch, you can do it by laying on your bed and coming to the end of your bed. So I'm going to show you with a roller. You don't need to sit in the bed. So, if you have this roller, you're going to have it underneath your legs. Press down in your feet to lift your butt, lift your pelvis. Bring this roller underneath your pelvis. And you want to be in a place where you feel stable, where you feel like it's not going to roll away. So my hips are right here, and the roller is right there. If you don't have a roller, and if you're not able, so if you're on your bed and doing this, your butt is going to be at the edge of your bed, and the leg that we're going to stretch, you're going to let it drop off of your bed. So you want to be able to have your hips elevated so that we can let our leg go lower, so that we can open up the hip. I'll show you. So you're going to extend that right leg long, and you're going to bring your left leg in. You want to be careful that you don't arch your back too much, and if you feel that, go ahead and scooch back a little like I just did. You want to, this front of this hip is going to stretch with that leg being lower. If you have something that has a little bit of that is more solid than not, that you can prop your hips up on, you can do it that way as well. So you can hold on to this left leg, and the more that you bring your left leg in and feel that right leg reaching away, the deeper stretch you're going to get. Try not to open the ribs, but keep them closed. Keep the abs activated so that we don't arch too much in the back as you take the stretch. As we're in the stretch, if you want to open up that left leg, if you want to do a little cross, if you just want to stay here, go for it. If this is too much of a stretch, grab something to put underneath your heel so that it's not as much of an angle, and that will lessen that stretch for you. Again, stay here as long as you need. You can let that leg turn out a little bit, but you'll get more if you're able to stay more parallel than not. But everyone's body is a little bit different, so if you're not feeling it parallel, go ahead and let that leg turn out a little bit. Find out where you need it to be for you. When you're ready to switch sides, hold on to the roller if you feel like you need to, but bend that right knee, take the left leg down, take a moment in the center, and then when you are ready, we're going to take the left leg long, do it just a little bit, and then bring that right leg in. Again, make adjustments as you need. You can do it with the leg down. You're not going to get as deep of a stretch on the side of the leg that's long. So if you're able to, go ahead and bring that leg in. So we want to be aware of what your hips are doing. This hip doesn't need to be lifted. I'm going to try to always be as good with our alignment as we can be as we're stretching, so that we're just reinforcing that proper alignment, and that will just lead to us functioning better in our daily lives. As you're in this stretch, when you inhale, picture the front of your hip, that short little hip flexor opening as you inhale, and then relaxing as you exhale. Add a little ankle rotation, you can. And if you did any kind of twisting on the other side, you want to do some twisting on this side, you can. If one side was tighter than the other, feel free to spend a little extra time on that one side, and that goes for anything that we've done in any of these stretches. If it feels good, go ahead and bring both knees in towards your chest, hold on to your roller, and that just helps to stretch out that low back. You want to stretch your leg long. Careful that you don't turn your head too much to one side or the other. Try to keep your head in the center. And then when you're ready, my pelvis is super nice and tucked. I'm going to take my pelvis down. I'm going to take my feet down. I'm going to rest for a moment with this roller still underneath my pelvis, just letting it support my hips, letting it support my pelvis. And I'm feeling like everything is just kind of like on top of that half roller. So just let everything open and melt away and melts down. And when you're ready to come off of that roller, just reversing how we got on. Keep those feet down. For rest down to lift your hips. Roll the roller away. Slowly come down. Readjust on your mat if you need to. And then grab that roller. Set it out of the way. Go ahead and bring your legs all the way together. Let your knees open. Let your feet come together. Feel a little rock side to side. If your hips are too tight for this to feel okay, grab something to put underneath your knees so that you can still get that opening, but you don't have to hold anything. You can let the leg relax down. If you have a block, if you have like stacks of books or clothes or something,
Just making sure that they're even on both sides. So if I had 2 blocks, I would have one under each leg so that I stay even. And then when you're ready, bringing those legs all the way back together.
And there we have it. I hope that was helpful for you. In the next video, I'm going to show you a couple of things that will help strengthen your hamstrings and your lower abdominals so that your hip flexors will loosen up and work less. So I hope to see you soon.